What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Tuesday. We got a lot to talk about. The CBA fight, in my opinion, is basically over. We're going to talk about that, the latest in the WNBA's offer, and why players are going to fold very, very soon. The end is near. We're also going to talk about Unrivaled and the massive amount of dollars that they've been raking in. And also the night at Barclays yesterday. What a night for women's basketball because Arike Gumbawale, dog, she's a big bucket player. She did it in college, did it in WNBA, doing it in Unrivaled. Good in the morning starts right now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
All right, guys. What is up? What is up? Okay, here's the thing. Let's talk Unrivaled semis. Yesterday, Unrivaled took over the Barclays Center. It was a star-studded event. So many celebrities were in the building in New York as Unrivaled did their second trip ever, and in the process made about $1 million. I mean, here's the thing, guys. If you all remember this, earlier this Unrivaled season, we saw them go to Philadelphia. That was a massive, massive success. Sold out. Boatload of money was made for the ticket revenue. And it was so much of a success that Unrivaled was like, hey, we got to do this again. And we cannot wait until next year. We can't wait till next year to go to some other place. We have to do it this year. We have to strike while their iron is hot. And they were like, you know what? Where do we go? Where do we go? And Stewie's like, well, there's always New York. There's always Brooklyn. There's always Barclays Center. And they decided to do that yesterday. And what a night it was as the semifinals. Could have been the championship, but, ultimately they wanted that to be in Miami because Miami is where everything all started at. So I get that. At the same time, may have wanted to consider doing the championship in Barclays. That could have been actually pretty fun. But I get their decision to not do that. Anyway, let's talk about the games that was, because we saw a boatload of really good games. Here's the deal. If you all have been paying attention over the last couple of days, you all know this, but Phantom has had some injuries, right? Aaliyah Boston has a lower leg injury. She's out for the rest of the season. It's not much of a season left, but the thing I don't, one side note about Unrivaled, the thing I don't like is there's a lot of lower leg injury with no actual information on what the injury is. You know what I'm saying? Remember when Benajelani Hamilton got hurt for Unrivaled? And then when the WNBA season was about to start, we learned the extent of her injury, and she was out literally the entire season. And so, I don't know what exactly the lower leg thing is. She was walking. She seemed to walk around pretty fine yesterday. And it didn't look like she had a brace on her. So, again, not sure the extent of that injury. And not sure if she's going to be all set to go for Team USA, because Aaliyah Boston is the only real center we got. Now, again, do I anticipate Team USA losing even without a center? No, they're going to win regardless. But it is something to note that she's basically the only center we have going to Puerto Rico. Only real traditional center we have going to Puerto Rico, and she might be out. So that's something to note there. But anyway, Aaliyah Boston's out. We have Dana Evans, who has basically not really played all season. Dana Evans has basically gotten the ability to get paid while rehabbing. That's it. She got paid while rehabbing. She only played in one game all season? Basically, she was non-existent all season for Team Phantom. So Dana was out, Aaliyah Boston was out, so they made the decision to elevate Isaiah James from the developmental pool and elevate Michaela Timpson as well. So both of those players ended up getting in, getting some tick. Michaela Timpson got some playing time. Isaiah James just sat on the bench. But they didn't need him because Tiff Hayes did her thing, and more importantly, Kelsey Plum did her thing, and ultimately got Phantom the dub 83-75 over Team Vinyl. I expected Team Phantom to make it to the championship. I told y'all, yesterday that I expected that. And they didn't disappoint. De'Erica Hamby had a fantastic game, but at the end of the day, it was KP who once again shows what they can do. All right. And then we saw Team Breeze versus Team Miss. Now this was the game I was very excited about because here's the thing. I actually really thought that Team Breeze would win this game. Like I thought, okay, let's let the young guns get the dub and that should be fun, right? Like I was totally thinking that was going to be it. And for a large part of the game, Team Breeze was giving Team Miss the business. At one point, wasn't it like a 14 or 15 point lead at some point? Like they were giving them the business and then they lost it. And I just don't totally understand. Well, I do understand why, because Arike Gumbawale is crazy. But I gotta say, Team Breeze should not have lost yesterday. Does anybody else agree with me? Team Breeze should not have lost yesterday. You led basically the entire game. You were cooking. And then in the fourth quarter, you allow Arike to go crazy. If you all know one thing about Arike Gumbawale, she is meant for the toughest of baskets when it matters the most. That's what she does. That's her focus, right? And remember in the NCAA championship, Arike Gumbawale was basically Big Shot Bob for Notre Dame, right? She had some huge clutch threes, corner threes, to elevate Notre Dame as a program. She was a sharpshooter who wasn't extremely consistent, but when she was feeling it, you couldn't stop her. She came to the WNBA, has done basically that same thing. And in Unrivaled, she has had some really good games. But I don't think she's had the clutches of clutches games so far in Unrivaled. It wasn't like she scored a ton of points. She didn't. Right? Only 21 points for Arike Gumbawale. It was the types of shots she hit in the fourth quarter. And I was like, yeah, dog. Yeah. Team Miss with the comeback. The whole game, I thought, oh, Breeze got it. Breeze. Yeah. Breeze going to get the win. And it's going to be so great, right? It's all about Team Breeze. But Arike with the game-winning three-point shot, starting off the fourth quarter, getting a bucket, getting a three, she's just great. So shout out to Arike Gumbawale for showing everybody once again how you are one of the most ice in her veins type of player that we have in the women's basketball space. Hey, here's the thing about Arike. She may be really off or she may be really on. You don't totally know, but if she is on, dog, yeah, you kind of messed up. You can't really do anything about it. You can't really do anything about it. So that's my thoughts there. Team Miss got the dub, led by Breanna Stewart with 23 and Arike Gumbawale with 21. I really thought the Breeze had it. I thought they had this game. I thought they were going to win. But at the end of the day, dog, It is what it is. Yeah, Jasper says Enrique hit the three and broke Dom's ankles at the same time. But yeah, man. Amelia says the way they started, I agree they should have won, but that is the difference of experience. The Mist are vets. That's true. That's true. Team Breeze was the youngest team in Unrivaled, and I thought they were about to take it to the old players. I thought you know I thought she was gonna take it. I thought they were gonna take it to the old players, but ultimately that did not happen. All right. And I'm sorry. Zaza played. She didn't score. Sorry. Zaza played. She didn't score. But Michaela Timpson did score 2 points. Better than nothing. Just saying. All right. Let's see if you all have any comments. Joya says Arika is always clutch. Yes. Yes. Tracy says Breeze got. Yeah, they shouldn't have lost, but they did. They lost to the Vets. They lost to the Vets. But I did want to say, did y'all notice last night was Husky night at Barclays Center? Did y'all notice that? It was Husky night. Same like UConn stayed. Seemed like they stayed in New York, because remember over the weekend they played at Madison Square Garden against St. John's, and seemed like they stayed in the city so that they could attend yesterday's Unrivaled game. And yeah, it was Enrique's birthday. It was, which is crazy. All right, let's see if y'all have any comments. Faye says, okay, Quita, stop hyping Enrique up. Enrique showed up when it mattered the most yesterday. Again, not the most consistent player at all. But if she's on, sometimes you are hard pressed to stop her. Right? That is something that's a thing, for sure. Henry says, Quita. Breeze almost won. Yeah, they almost won. Yeah, they did almost win. But as a lot of y'all told me yesterday, almost doesn't count. Almost doesn't count. I'm waiting for Unrivaled to get so big that there starts to be a consistent drum of Quita, you hate this team. I can't wait. That's when you know you made it. You know what I'm saying? That's when you know you made it as a league, when you have a boatload of fans, a small portion of which are sometimes irrational. I think that's how you know. Because women's college basketball, they got it. Got a ton of fans, and a small amount are rational, and sometimes they could be like some of the loudest people. And I think that's how you know you made it. That's how you know. That's how you know. All right. And I'm waiting for Unrivaled to get big enough where that starts to happen, because then it's gonna be like, yes, congratulations on your success. Like that's what I'm talking about. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. All right. El Kune says Unrivaled needs to go to Boston and Detroit next year. Yes, to Boston. I don't know if they'll sell out Detroit. Like, I think the East Coast will definitely put their money where their mouth is a whole lot easier and faster. Well, actually, that's not true because the West Coast with the Valks, and so I don't know. Like I think for sure Boston would probably sell out if they went to Boston. I mean, hey, go to Detroit. Let's hope for a sellout. I think everywhere Unrivaled goes, they have to be just very strategic about it. Very strategic about where they go. All right. Faye says Unrivaled will be so big in the future. I mean, I hope so. I think that'd be fun. I think that would be really, really fun if they can. Lenny says Team Breeze did well for the youngest team. They did. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Team Breeze played well. They did. They did play well. And yes, Lysandra says they would sell out the CLA. They 100%. Like 100%. 100%. They would sell out. Yeah. That's not even a question. Honestly, maybe what they do, maybe they have a Unrivaled college tour. That could be kind of fun. Where they go back to New York for UConn. Or no, Boston. Boston's closer. Boston's closer to Connecticut. Okay, so college tour for Unrivaled next year. You go to South Carolina, the CLA. You go to New York for Connecticut. Or no, Boston for Connecticut. Because like Gamble is not big enough, I don't think. You go to... would they sell out though in Baton Rouge? I don't know. You go to Baton Rouge. I think that'd be really fun. Especially if Angel's playing. If Angel's playing, if you got Flaugier in there for Unrivaled, go to LSU. And I would say go to Duke from Camera Indoor and go to, I want to say go to Tennessee. However, you run like you'll be butting up against Athletes Unlimited. And so like that could be a little bit of a awkward thing. That could be very awkward. But I would love to see them go to Tennessee. I think that'd be awesome if they went to Tennessee. But again, it kind of would get into an awkward situation with Athletes Unlimited. Speaking of which, Athletes Unlimited season ended, and I gotta talk about Athletes Unlimited. So I'll try to fit that in. This is the bad thing about having Athletes Unlimited at this time. It is my hope that Athletes Unlimited eventually gets moved to January. All right, it's my hope that it gets moved to January, because having it at the time that it is too difficult to be able to fully pay attention to college basketball when it gets its craziest, and Unrivaled, which is just bigger than Athletes Unlimited, and pay attention to Athletes Unlimited. I think it's too much. It's too much. And so it is my hope that eventually they move Athletes Unlimited to January. That'd be great. Quentin says Unrivaled probably does not have a lot of budget for that kind of travel. Well, they do have a lot of budget. Quite a bit, actually. And that's a fantastic segue to our next topic. Let's go.
Our merch sales have also done very well and have more than doubled, actually much more than doubled since last year. And we are now at close to $4 million in sales. Our ticket revenue is at actually close to $5 million, we believe, after tonight. And so from a big picture perspective, this means that from a financial performance point of view, last year when we had projected 13.5 million in revenue, we actually ended up with $27 million in revenue. And this year we're at approximately 45 million. So that speaks to the financial performance, but it's as a natural byproduct of putting the players and the fans first while consistently raising the bar and setting new standards, thereby proving what's possible when you focus on the true value drivers of a sport.
So those are some numbers for Unrivaled. $40+ million they have in revenue over the last 2 seasons. They are well above their projections. Unrivaled has made $5 million on ticket revenue, approximately. Unrivaled's making bank, is my point. So yes, yes, ratings are down. Yeah, absolutely. They are, right? But, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. The numbers are looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good in terms of revenue. 18,261 people last night in Barclays. It's a sellout. They made about $1 million last night alone in ticket revenue. So the question about Unrivaled may not have the money. Do they have the money to go on a tour, a college tour? They got the money. And from the looks of it, it's showing that, they are actually getting a significant bag in return for their travels. Right? They sold out in Philadelphia, sold out in New York. If that continues to happen, which, they have to be very careful about being very strategic about where they're going and whatnot. If they can do that, then sky's the limit. $4 million in merch sales. Ticket revenue, $5 million. $45 million total. Now, that's just revenue. We don't know expenses. We don't have the numbers for expenses. And it makes sense that a business that is still growing, that is still definitely trying to raise more capital and trying to get more investors, for that type of business, it makes sense that they're not talking about their expenses. So we don't know. We know their revenue, at least according to what they're saying, is $45 million. But their books aren't open. We have no idea what the expenses are. The expenses could be $20 million. I doubt it. The expenses could be $30 million. It could be $60 million in expenses. We don't know. Right? And so that's something to talk about. Unrivaled has surpassed their projections for year 1 and year 2. They've passed the projections. But we don't know about profit. We don't know. And it makes sense that they won't tell us. Right? It makes sense that they will not tell us. And so we'll see. We will see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Unrivaled is not claiming that they are making a profit, but they are claiming $45 million of revenue. Which I'm not saying, I don't disbelieve them. I'm just saying, I think it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. It is kind of, Quintus, they have an agreement with TNT Sports. They have a partnership, a multi-year partnership with TNT Sports that allows their games to be on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. Jasper says Unrivaled might not have viewership, but they have motion on social media. They do. And the future of sports is social. related. Even more so than now. Even more so than now. Right? And so we will see what happens. Mike says people seem to love the Breeze jerseys. I mean, they look good. Also, I mean, Paige is on the team, so of course, that's going to be one of the favorite jerseys for sure. Kay says projecting 13 million ended up with 27 is absolutely insane. We love to see it. We do. We absolutely love to see women's leagues growing leaps and bounds. I think it's kind of awesome. I think it is kind of awesome. Lashandra says, has a message for the awesome people of the internet. Says, just because you, whoever this applies to, don't watch AU does not mean a lot of people aren't. Facts. Now, the thing we won't know for Athletes Unlimited is that it's not on linear TV. So there is no, from what I understand, there is no Nielsen ratings. Because the games are only on ESPN Plus and the WNBA app. So we have no idea like what the exact numbers are, but people are watching. I mean, I'm watching, but like it's hard to like keep up as much, especially live with Athletes Unlimited, just because of all the stuff happening. And so like I really do hope they move it. I really hope they move it. I think they would be able to garner even more support than they have right now. And Athletes Unlimited is also a league that is growing, right? They're absolutely growing as well. But I could see them doing way more. So, yeah. That is something to note, okay? All right. El Kune says, I need Rakia to get a better PR team. She should be out there more than she is. She's a great player. She is a great player. Yeah. Yeah. She is a great player. All right. WNBA CBA. Let's talk about it.
We're going to fight for what we deserve. We've been working from, a CBA that didn't value us in the past. So it's kind of hard, and there's some strong emotions, but, we're working. We're trying.
Our deal, you look at our deal, the union's deal, or the league's deal, it's like both of them are not ready. Both are not ready to be voted on because both need to be negotiated either up or down or...
are still not making enough, that middleman potentially still not making enough for housing to also be taken off of the table. You all know this New York market. that $200,000 jump that players are going to make, that's before taxes, that's before what they would have to pay for a potential housing market in the state of New York. So I still am focused on our middleman again. I think it's a starting point. I'm happy with them finally coming back to us with a proposal, but I think there's a lot more that we can do to protect our middleman, even with our jump of salary.
A house divided is where the WNBA players still are, right? You have you heard a mix of voices, right? You heard Brittany Griner talking about how the negotiations that they're going through, like it's kind of difficult, right? You have Natasha Cloud talking about how housing and not having that possibly be provided by the league is an issue because yes, players are going up in salary, but depending on the market that you're in, housing could be very expensive. And the rise in salary might not offset housing when you have taxes to be considered and all that good stuff. Here's the thing. Also, y'all get it. A house divided. Tash Cloud was talking about housing, and so house divided. Anyway, I just wanted to share. I just wanted to share some opinions out there from some players. Now, this is not all the players, of course. A lot of players have talked about this. We're gonna talk about some of the players who are seemingly alluding that they're giving in just a sec. But I did just want to talk about this real quick and talk about the housing thing in particular. All right, FaZe, we're not talking about what Paige said. We're gonna talk about we're gonna focus on Tash and her argument about housing real quick. All right, so here's the deal about housing. When I heard this comment, I was like, my initial thought was, yeah, it is very expensive in New York. She has a point. And then my second mind was, okay, how expensive is New York real estate actually? Because here's the thing, I don't know. I'm not someone who is looking for real estate in New York. And so I had no idea. I knew it was expensive. That's one thing I did. No, I knew it was expensive. But I had no idea how much it was. And so I went on the Googles and I found my way to Zillow. And so I was like, okay, great. Let me go to Zillow and let me kind of put some stuff in to figure out what exactly is the pricing for housing in New York. Cause I know it's expensive, but like how much is expensive is the question. And here we go. Here's Zillow. I want to walk y'all through what I went through myself, because I don't know. as someone who has been in New York one time before, I know it's expensive. I know they put garbage on the curb, which I think is weird. I think it's very weird, and they got rats everywhere. That's all I really know about New York. So I was like, okay, great. Let me go to New York. Let me do downtown Brooklyn. Because most likely, if you play for the New York Liberty, you're going to live likely in downtown Brooklyn, right? And so I was like, okay, let's kind of do these let's kind of do these things. Okay, great. You must have AC, because if you're a WNBA player, you got to be in a building with AC. You also got to be in a building with the in-unit laundry, because I think that's kind of crazy to have to share. I mean, if you're a pro basketball player, I mean, we as regular people share all the time. I share laundry with, I don't know, like 100 other people in my building. So like, regular people do that. But, as an athlete, you may not want to do that. So, okay, in-unit laundry. For parking, I'm going to just say no parking for right now, because not everybody may have a car. All right. High-speed internet, yes. Elevator, yes. I feel like that makes sense. You probably wouldn't want to walk up. All right. So with all that being said, you put all that in, and this is all that's available really in for rent in the New York downtown Brooklyn area. And it is kind of expensive. Okay, it starts off with the studio. Okay, let's just say you want a 1-bedroom. This looks like a nice place. You want a 1-bedroom, and this place is going to cost you, let's go on the higher end, because it's probably slightly nicer. All right, $5,100 a month. Okay. Well, but does this place allow you to rent for half the year? Because not all places allow you to do that. So if you go to more, let's just say you want short-term leases. You want a short-term lease? Boom. You hit apply. Nothing. Nothing is available with those criteria. Nothing is available for short-term. And I think that's partially the problem. You got to get something with a short-term lease and all these other things, right? And so let's say, okay, I don't want an elevator. I don't need an elevator. I don't need high-speed internet. Okay, boom, something pops up. And you can go to one of these places. But like you're losing amenities. And so like if you want to have a lot of nice stuff, it's going to be expensive on a short-term lease standpoint. And so that's something to note. And so I just wanted to, I just did this exercise myself and I was like, let me just do it again for the awesome people at the internet. Just for us to talk about it together, because like housing could be an issue for a place like New York where you need to get certain amenities, but also you need to ensure that it's relatively close to the arena and to your practice facility. And also ensure that you can get it on a short-term basis. I think that's the big thing, because WNBA season, let's say you may need your lease for, let's say, 6 months, maybe maximum 7 months if you want to go, early or stay later or whatever after a WNBA season. Let's just say roughly, it's going to be roughly around $5,000. If you're staying for about 7 months, that's about $38,000. Is that a lot of money? Absolutely. For us regular people, yes. There's no way I could even sniff a apartment that expensive. And also you have actual expenses of internet, and you got to pay for your light bill and your gas bill and your all that stuff. And so it can get very expensive very fast. But at the same time, to be fair, an increase in $200 million for the average player, where the average player is now in the range of $400,000 to $500,000, you can take care of a $38,000 housing expense if you're making $400,000 to $500,000. You can. So to be fair, yes, Tash is right. New York real estate is very expensive, but at the same time, it ain't eating up that much money. Now, what is eating up a lot of money is going to be your taxes. And there's nothing you can really do about that. Taxes are taxes. All right. GeoBabe says there's also stress of having to locate a place. Players need someone to make the arrangement. That is true. That is true. But also, yeah, most agents will probably do that. A lot of agents probably would. I mean, the season is longer than 3 months, and I would be interested to see if the WNBA will have any restrictions. So here's the deal: the current numbers, or the current agreement that I saw come through yesterday was actually related to the WNBA's recent proposal, and their recent proposal actually does allow for housing for the first year. And then after that, after you have housing for the first year in 2026, it will be changed to here. Let me share this so you all can see it yourselves. All right, so here's the front office sports article by Annie, and it says during the first year in 2026 there will be housing for all players. And after that, in 2027, team housing would only be available to developmental players, rookies, and those who sign the league minimum. And in 2028, only developmental players will be provided housing. So that's something to note. All right. With housing. But also to note with housing is that, hey, here's the deal. At least this year it would be covered. After that, players will the higher up players will kind of be on their own. And eventually it'll only be the developmental players, which are the players who are going to get paid a significantly lower salary. What that salary is for developmental players, we don't know. But the question I have that I don't know the answer to, and we might not know the answer to until we get to CBA, is just because teams are required to give housing to players, to those types of players for that time span, does that mean they're not allowed to? Meaning, if the owners of the New York Liberty are like, you know what? We got a lot of money. Like Claire Wusai, if she's like, hey, I got a lot of money. I want my teams to have the best. And so New York Liberty, even though I'm not required to give you housing, I will give you housing for every single player on the team. Like that could be one of those things where housing is one of those amenities that players are looking for. Like right now, you know, a lot of the players are like determining where they go based on like the amenities that team has, like in terms of their practice facility, the staff, the training staff that helps them out and whatnot. So the teams that have the best, they might get better players because of the amenities that they're giving to players. Like, could housing be an amenity down the line where it's not required, but the best teams are going to say, you know what? Hey, we'll provide you housing. I know we're not required to, but we'll provide you housing. Like, I wonder if there will be a restriction around that. I really wonder if there'll be a restriction. All right. So that's something to note. Also, here's the thing. I also think that players are giving in. The reason why I titled the video this way is because from the articles I've read, which, here's the thing about articles. Personally, I am of the mind that I would love to just have the video that these articles were based off of, like the full video, to like fully fully understand the full context of the quotes and whatnot. Not to say that like there's anything wrong with the people who write these articles. I think they do a fantastic job and they give us great information. But I just want to see it for myself. Like I would love for some of the quotes that I'm about to go over. I would love to have seen a video of it because you can see the body language of the person, you can see the tone of the person, and it can kind of help color your actual opinions on what they said. So here's the deal. Kelsey Plum was talked to and she said, I want to play and players want to play. We're going to continue to negotiate and do everything we can to get this done in a timely fashion. But obviously a strike would be the worst thing for both sides because we are in a revenue share. So no revenue to share. And then Breanna Stewart says she agreed with Kelsey. Quote, while we are still fighting for a lot of different things, we have to realize that the rev share is a win. And this leads me to my thoughts about how I think the players are giving in because they're saying that like, yay. We did get rev share, so that's something. We're gonna call it a success and possibly move on. Right? Here's another quote that says from Stewie says, quote, I think while we are fighting for a lot of different things, we have to realize that rev share is a win, especially just even coming from the 2020 CBA and the ones before that. Now as the league makes money, we make money, and so when Kelsey talks about, I don't think a strike is good for anyone because the league loses money, or if we have a delay, we also lose money. Here's the thing, we don't have video for that. But like my interpretation, based on these two articles from ESPN and from Front Office Sports, is that if to me reading it, and again, not being able to see body language or anything like that, me reading it is making me really feel like, oh, the players are caving. The players are caving, and they're just gonna claim success and say, you know what? Yes, we went down from 40% to now 26%, and now it doesn't seem like you're gonna get even close to that because you're probably gonna be less than 15% once you agree to this new deal. It makes me think like, oh, okay, you're just gonna claim success, which, to be fair, 100%. Getting rev share is success. It is success. It is success. You have a different structure than what you had before, so that is a win. But we're basically in the same exact spot we were several months ago when Nafisa was saying, "Oh, if you don't know how to run a league, We basically saying that Unrivaled knows how to run a league, and the WNBA alluding to the fact that they may not know how to run a league and give the players what they want and whatnot. Nafisa did speak on it. She did speak on it. She was on ESPN, I think yesterday, and she did weigh in, which basically all she really said was, I got to do what the players want me to do, yada yada yada. She didn't really say anything, to be honest with you. I listened to it and I was like, whatever. She didn't say much. But yeah, I think that's a big deal. It's a big deal. And so what a time change. Things have shifted a little bit to where there hasn't been much change on the WNBA side, and the outrage that players were feeling seems like some players are walking it back a little bit. They're walking it back because time is of the essence, right? They won a season. And it seems like maybe the WNBA got what they wanted. Maybe they got what they wanted. And so I do want to share with you all, this stream has gone on way longer than I wanted. However, we got to get to it. I do want to share with you all, I can't share the video, but I'll share the audio of Nafisa Collier yesterday talking about this situation. Here is what Nafisa had to say.
Kelsey Plum said, quote, obviously, we're going to continue to negotiate and do everything we possibly can to get this done in a timely fashion. But obviously, a strike would be the worst thing for both sides, end quote. What can you tell us about where things stand right now?
I think that my job as an EC member is to speak for the collective. Like, I can't say what I would do, what I wouldn't do. We have many meetings about just checking the temperature, where people are at, what people are feeling, and our goal is to speak for the collective. And so I think that is what we're focusing on. We're both sides are working really hard to get a deal done. We understand the time constraints we're under. I think, we're having many meetings, many going back and forth. Everything is very fluid right now, so it's kind of hard to comment on stuff, but just know that we're working hard to get it done.
The league set a March 10th deadline for a new CBA to get done without the schedule being impacted. How confident are you that a new deal can be done and not impact the schedule with that timeline?
I honestly can't speak to it. It's so fluid right now. Like, we're going back and forth every single day. Again, we understand the time constraints, but, we have things that need to get done before that time, but we're working as fast as we can to get them done.
All right, so that was Nafisa Collier yesterday. Definitely less fiery than the last time she really talked about the WNBA. Jeff Blaze, thanks so much for the super chat, says, like I said before, no rev share, $1 million per person, even rookies, everything else remains the same. I mean, I don't know if the league would even agree to that, because that's kind of a high bar to say everybody gets $1 million. But I mean, it'd be interesting. That's for sure. That is for sure. All right. There is one other thing I wanted to talk about that makes me highly interested in this new deal from the league, because the league also made a proposal that accelerated max contracts for basically the stars of the world, right? For the Paiges and the Caitlins and the Aaliyahs and others who are amazing players on a rookie deal, they will have the opportunity to make way more money. So it says all WNBA first and second team players who are still on rookie deals would become eligible to sign a maximum contract in their fourth year, after which they will not be eligible for the core designation. A player on a rookie deal who earns MVP could also be eligible for a supermax deal and not be cored. I love this. I love this idea totally, because if you think about it. Think about a player, let's just say Caitlin. Let's use Caitlin as an example. Think about a player like Caitlin, who her rookie year was phenomenal, right? Last year dealt with a lot of injuries and whatnot, so that's a thing there. But rookie year, phenomenal, great, fantastic. It is weird that like a player that can come in the league can dominate and do so well and get all WNBA honors, and at the same time be in a low position when it comes to revenue compared to other players. So I like the idea that if you are a star, if you come into the league and you ball out of control, you're an all WNBA player, you are an MVP or whatever the case may be, as a result, you should be rewarded earlier. You shouldn't have to wait 4 years to make money. You should be able to make money in your 4th year and have an opportunity to do a supermax. I love that, and not be cored. I love that totally. I think that's great. Because one, it will ensure that the best players, even if they're on rookie deals, get paid. 2, players don't like the core designation. They don't like it because you're stuck on a team that you may not like, and it can core you, and you're just there. And it allows for the top players to have a little bit more freedom. To the point where if, Caitlin, if this happens, Caitlin's definitely going to get that supermax for the 4th year and should get it. And if she decides in her 5th year in the league, if she's like, hey, actually, I don't want to be with the FIFA no more, I want to go somewhere else, then she can. It forces teams to even more treat players like royalty, especially their best players, because you don't have the option of coring the players who are coming off a rookie deal if you give them that supermax. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a great deal, great idea. I do think it does kind of. I do think the issue is that some teams with like a boatload of young talent is gonna hurt. Like, for example, like what is happening with the Fever with Aaliyah, who's still on a rookie deal, and Caitlin. Would they both end up going on a supermax as they enter their 4th year? Right? As a that's something to note. That is something to note. Aaliyah would be max contract eligible this season, and Caitlin in 2027. Are you gonna be able to do that and pay them that while also keeping Kelsey Mitchell? Like I think it's gonna be very tough for the Fever in this current thing. And so that is interesting. Quintus says, what's funny is all of those 4-year rooks you mentioned would fall on the sword for their teammates financially. I mean, you don't know that. Possibly, but should they have to? I don't know. All right. Henry says Nafisa should not have been shooting off her mouth. Even her husband was doing some damage control on We Need to Talk podcast. Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, I think they were a little bit too, in my opinion. Hey, Nafisa's great. She's allowed to say whatever she wants, and also I'm allowed to have an opinion on what she says. In my opinion, she was too strong. It was her comments earlier this Unrivaled season, before the numbers started to come out, the ratings numbers and whatnot, it was too strong. Too strong. And now it's now I feel like she had to like tone it down a whole bunch. All right? And so yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing. All right. Biomicrobiology says, off topic, tweeted, but did you see your coverage made the UCLA documentary? Yes. And one of the producers reached out to me to get my approval on getting included, which I was like, oh yeah, of course. Whatever you need, take it. The exposure is huge. And so I was very excited to be featured in that. I was featured on the later end of it when I was talking about London Jones transferring out of UCLA and going to USC. I was like, it's one thing to transfer teams. It's another thing to go across the street to go to your biggest rival. I think I said something like that about London Jones. But yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. I was very excited. I was very, very excited to be included in that thing. And I thought it was great. So shout out to y'all for noticing me. Shout out to y'all. All right. Whoa. We have almost gone an hour. So I got to wrap this up and say, I will see y'all later. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the WNBA CBA. A whole lot to talk about. Dog. Hey, well, we will absolutely see what happens in the CBA. In my opinion, the players are going to cave. They're giving in. The CBA talk will be over very, very soon because they're going to come to an agreement. It does feel like the writing is on the wall that they're just going to claim success. Like, yes, we did it. Same thing that they did in 2000 and whenever the last CBA was it 2000 and actually I don't remember. Anyway, the last CBA, you saw there was a whole video that was made about NECA and other players talking about how transformative the CBA was and how happy they were. It was a video with like players and Kathy in it, and it was just a whole thing of like, yes, we're so happy, this is so great, and yada yada yada. I think we're gonna see that same thing come. Right now, everyone's all mad, but they're about to all hop in line, quick, fast, and in a hurry, because it really does seem like, at least face value on the comments from Breanna Stewart and Kelsey Plum, they're conceding. They're conceding. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a thing. And it's a thing that they probably feel like they have to do because time is of the essence. It's winding down. And so, hey. Yeah, Henry. On the last day, they will shake hands and there'll be one big happy family until the next CBA fight. Yes, I think that's what's going to happen. And, I mean, it makes sense, right? Isn't that how negotiations work in general? Isn't that how... I'm not in a union, but, like, if I was, I would imagine that's how that would be. But, yeah. There you go. Because it's my super short show. Now you know. All right. Y'all have a good one. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set, go.